All right, so let's start with the big story that we're tracking on WION this hour. Top Democrats in the U.S. Senate have now accused the Republicans of poisoning the country's democracy by refusing to accept Joe Biden as president-elect. Now, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer said that his grand old party colleagues were deliberately casting doubts on the electoral process and the electoral results due to fears of President Donald Trump. He's now urged the Republicans to abandon what he calls as ridiculous shenanigans and to turn their attention to the pandemic.
We just had a divisive and hard-fought presidential election. But instead of working to pull the country back together so that we can fight our common enemy, COVID-19, Republicans in Congress are spreading conspiracy theories, denying reality, and poisoning the well of our democracy. Congressional Republicans are deliberately casting doubt on our elections for no other reason but fear of Donald Trump. These Republicans are all auditioning for profiles in cowardice. So this morning I have a very simple message for Senate Republicans. The election is over. It wasn't close. President Trump lost. Joe Biden will be the next president of the United States. Kamala Harris will be the next vice president of the United States. Senate Republicans, stop denying reality. Stop deliberately and recklessly sowing doubt about our democratic process and start focusing on COVID.
All right, so that, of course, is what the Democrats have been saying. And to give us more perspective in terms of what's actually playing out in the United States, we are joined in by senior journalist Ray Locker, who is joining us live from Utah. Now, Ms. Locker, let me begin by asking you this. This, of course, is something that's dragged on ever since the elections have been called in the United States. And now the Democrat leader, Chuck Schumer, coming out and saying that the Republicans, by backing what Donald Trump alleges is electoral fraud that has actually taken place, are poisoning the democracy in the United States. What do you make of this?
Well, I think he's right in this instance. I mean, we've had many, many elections in this country, including 4 years ago, in which Hillary Clinton conceded the election after it looked like Donald Trump won by only a total of 70,000 votes in 3 critical states. Now, this year, Joe Biden has won in those states by a larger margin. He's gotten more popular votes than Clinton did in 2016. He's beaten Trump by probably about 4 percentage points when everything is said and done. So clearly he's earned a right to declare himself president-elect, yet people continue to go along with President Trump's assertion that there was fraud. No one has found any fraud. I mean, it hasn't happened in any of the states. Republican and Democratic elections officials have stated that. The only person who says to the contrary is Donald Trump. And keep in mind, this is something he's done over and over again. When he lost the Iowa caucuses in 2016, he claimed there was fraud on the part of Ted Cruz, who won the caucuses. He said there was fraud in 2016 when he lost a popular vote by 2.9 million. No one found any fraud. And now he's saying it again now. And it's only to soothe his ego that he continues to say that.
And also, Mr. Locker, what do you make of the reports that are coming forth that Joe Biden, despite being president-elect, is still not getting access to daily intelligence briefings because Donald Trump does not want him to get access to that? What does this do to this process of transition of power? Will we see more such roadblocks being put up by Trump campaign?
I think they're going to continue to try to do that for a while. I think, though, you're seeing erosion in the Republican ranks as more and more people, such as Chuck Grassley, the long-term senator from Iowa, saying that Biden should have access to intelligence briefings. James Lankford, Republican senator for Oklahoma, said that as well as Susan Collins, Republican from Maine, who just won a very tough re-election battle. So more and more people are saying that. Inside the White House, most people there don't believe that Trump has a chance of pulling off any kind of victory. Every lawsuit that they've tried in a variety of states has lost. There's really nothing that's going to happen. They're just trying to soothe the president's ego to keep him happy somehow. In the meantime, he's fired the defense secretary. He wants to fire the CIA director. And there are other people in the government who are going to get fired for the last couple of months he's in office because he's mad and he's lashing out at people.
Absolutely. But how long do you think all of this is likely to last? because Joe Biden, the president-elect, needs to take charge of affairs on the 20th of January. That is the deadline. And Donald Trump needs to demit from the White House. Donald Trump's campaign has, of course, filed several lawsuits. They are also hoping to have a recount in many of the states where they are contesting. Georgia has already announced a recount of the votes. But how long can this process now delay the transition of power?
Well, I think President Trump can take as long as he wants. The bottom line is there are official things that have to happen. The General Services Administration has to sign an order allowing the collaboration to happen. But the thing that's different about Joe Biden as opposed to other candidates, he was very recently vice president. He and his people know the operations of these agencies, and they know people inside the agencies will talk to them, if not on an official basis, definitely unofficially. So I think that they can do many things to get up to speed, but It helps to have the official sanction to be able to do that.
Now, just before we let you go, Mr. Locker, just in the eventuality that President Trump refuses to accept defeat, refuses to concede the election, what is likely to happen if he does not demit the White House on the 20th of January?
Well, look, he's going to leave. What's going to happen is each state will certify his election results. That'll happen in December. That's the final official date. Once those become official, everything locks in, the Electoral College, all of those. And Joe Biden will become president-elect officially, and he'll become president on January 20th, whether Donald Trump does anything or not. The inauguration will take place regardless of whether Trump is there, and Biden becomes president. And if Trump doesn't leave the White House, someone will come in and get him and remove him because he will no longer be president at that time.
All right, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you very much indeed, Ray Locker, for joining us and getting us all those insights.